Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Chancellor of the University of Johannesburg, Professor Njabulo Ndebele, Vice-Chancellor Professor Tshilidzi Marwala, UJ Council Chairman Mr. Mike Teke, Deputy Vice-Chancellors, Executive Deans of Faculties, senior members and staff, the leadership of SRC, and the families of all the graduates here today. I feel very honored and privileged to have been awarded an honorary doctorate by UJ. I wish to accept it with all the humility, having been acknowledged as somebody who has contributed to the body of knowledge of this great university, one of the greatest in South Africa. I embrace it completely, understanding the responsibility that comes with being associated with the institution as big as this, with all its wonderful history. I would also like to congratulate the students who are graduating today under very, very difficult circumstances, very unusual conditions. It means you have been tested beyond the core of a normal student. You had to navigate through this condition that we find ourselves in, the COVID conditions. It is just over a year ago that on the 5th of March last year we experienced our first case of COVID as South Africa. The first case being in the world being November 2019 in China. Even though we had already observed what this pandemic was doing to Spain, to Italy, and the damage it was causing, it still did find us in South Africa completely unprepared. A year later, we are still grappling with how finally can we say South Africa is actually safe from the COVID. Everybody is doing what they can do, government leading. We're all augmenting what the government is supposed to be doing. The scientists are doing their best, but we're all trying our best to release South Africa out of this problem. Even though COVID has affected all over the world, South Africa finds us in a very weak position already when our own economic status is at its weakest. We had just been declared a junk status by the credit rating agencies in 2020, something which we experienced when the government took over in 1994. South Africa was in a junk status. It is second time in a junk status again. What happened in 1994 is that all hands on deck were put on the table to make sure that we do get out of that condition. Government leading, SOEs doing their best, academics doing their best, actuaries, all the legacy issues had to be solved to get South Africa out of that junk status. And it took 7 years to get it right, where South Africa was now in an investment grading mode and with some surplus in the system, and we thought we had done and corrected. Much later, this time 2020, again South Africa is in that kind of situation again, as a junk status, this time with COVID on top of it. It is going to be very complicated this time to solve this, given that COVID causes untold economic stress generally, and then we also have to fix our own condition. Having said that, it might mean then that South Africa's dreams have been deferred, and if that is the case, all of our dreams are deferred if we do not help South Africa to get itself out of that. I look up to this pipeline from the university is going to take all the intellectual brain to actually make it work, to reverse some of these issues. We're looking out of the output from the universities, your scientists, your psychologists, your economists, your accountants, everybody has got to put their hand on the table and actually help South Africa to move out of being a junk status country to again being an economic investment graded country. And for that, we look up to institutions like University of Johannesburg to help us out of this. I wish you all the time very well, and at the same time, I'm envious. Being a young professional, these are interesting times. They require innovation, they require creativity, they require all these things to experiment with, given your basic knowledge that we have acquired from the universities. And with that, I want to thank you very much and wish you good luck again as the next professionals, and we hope to be able to take South Africa out of where it is today. Once again, I want to thank the university for honoring me with their Honorary Doctorate in entrepreneurship at a time which is very, very difficult for entrepreneurs. Thank you very much.